yesterday I watched Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas and fell completely in love with it, to the point where I couldn't wait any longer and I had to watch Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas, which was released 5 years later in 2004. And it follows a pretty similar setup of several Christmas stories based around various Disney characters, actually the same Disney characters, Donald and the Ducks, Goofy and Max, Minnie and Mickey, of course, and Daisy as well. And I have to say it's not as good for two reasons. I think the first one is that they pack more stories into it. The first one had 3 stories. I think this one has about 5, don't quote me on that, but it's not that much longer. It's about 8 minutes longer. So some of the stories don't get enough chance to be as well developed. They're not bad, of course. If I watched this one first, I would have been in love with it. But because I have just watched the first one, I can't help but compare it. The other reason it's not as good as this one is CGI. And quite surprised, actually. Because it's only 5 years later and it's only 2004. And again, nothing wrong with that specifically. But I prefer Disney animation. I don't like it when they take beloved characters who've been animated for their entire lives and then they turn them into CGI or CGI animation, but it's still just quite jarring. After a while I got used to it, but I also don't like it when the poster art in the marketing shows the characters in their beautiful animated form. I just don't know why they don't show the characters in their CGI version in the poster, aside from the fact that it's not as engaging and not as fun, at least for those of us who have grown up with Disney. Okay, so I'm being quite negative about it, but actually I did still thoroughly enjoy it. And as I said, there are a handful of narratives in this, and I won't go into too much detail about any of them because I don't want to spoil it if you're watching this. But if you've seen the first one, they're kind of pretty similar. The first one starts off with Minnie and Daisy doing some ice skating, and it's a really nice story about friendship. And the one with Donald Duck is all about his manners and ruining Christmas for other people, which is definitely something I think most people can relate to, because people get quite tense at Christmas and, you know, people always argue and things. I do like the Ducks, though. I particularly liked the episode, or the short, where the Ducks go off to Santa's workshop to try and put themselves onto the nice list. I thought that one was quite fun and engaging, and I liked seeing kind of Disney's interpretation of what Santa's workshop would look like and what a daily task for the elves was like. That one I enjoyed. However, there's one episode in this which kind of not ruined it for me, but it was too emotional, and I do not like Disney animal films anymore. I cannot watch them because I cry. But the one with Mickey and Pluto is very emotional. I won't say why, but it was upsetting. And yeah, obviously it has a happy ending. I need to say that because it's obviously children's films should never have a sad ending. This one obviously has a positive ending, but the development is really emotional, and I just wanted to pick Pluto up and hug him, and Pluto's never been one of my favourite characters. But ultimately, it's a really sweet, festive film. I feel like the first one's more festive. I feel like the music in the first one is a lot better. I feel like because they're not as rushed, we get to know the characters more, and we get to spend more time with them. This one has a lot more. Each narrative feels a bit more developed, but in a way that's a bad thing because they're so short, there's so much in them. You don't really have time to enjoy what's there as much. But again, it's not bad. I'm just comparing it to the first one because I can't help it. I do thoroughly enjoy Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas, but whereas the first one's probably now going to become an annual tradition for me, Twice Upon a Christmas is one that I'm probably just going to dip in and out of. It's good fun, definitely worth watching if you're in the mood for a Christmas film, or if you love Disney, which I'm sure you do. Not as good as the first, but still pretty magical.